What's up everyone, and welcome back to Nexus. You may think that just randomly finding this channel on YouTube is one of the coolest things that's ever happened to you, but prepare to be amazed by all kinds of other stuff people just get lucky enough to find. From entire secret networks of tunnels discovered in abandoned forests, to old guns pulled out of lakes that somehow still manage to fire, and even to some things that are only valuable to very specific people. There's all kinds of things waiting to be dug up. Watch this video to see the top 10 most insane things YouTubers found. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get new content similar to this every day. Also, make sure to comment down below letting us know which was your favorite. And for this video, let's see if we can hit the golden like button, which is 1,000 likes, so make sure to drop a like down below. Number 10. Already with the title of this video, the guy has set up some pretty big boots to fill, since it's called the most unique thing found while metal detecting ever, with quite a lot of exclamation marks. It's a very long video with most of it just him digging around in the sand for quite a few hours with what looks to be a pretty high-end metal detector. It's kind of funny that this whole most unique find is an acid tab. That's right, he's on some random beach out in Ontario for the summer when he finds some drugs buried just beneath the sand in a little plastic baggie. He plays the good guy in this case, taking the discovery to the local sheriff's office and handing it in. And apparently the officers in there told him that it's most likely heroin, which is a pretty scary thing to just randomly find on a beach while you're on vacation.
I don't like the looks of it. You know, got this little skull devil thing on there. So I'm going to turn it in.
Number 9. I don't know what kind of crazy mafia stuff led to this guy finding a random gun in a gun case hidden out in a creek, but if I were him, I definitely wouldn't use it or get fingerprints on it. After all, what reason is there to dump a gun out in the woods other than if it had been used to commit a pretty dreadful crime? So he finds a gun while he's doing who even knows what in the woods, and eventually drags it up and pulls it out of its case, where he finds it totally full of mud. It turns out to be a 12-gauge shotgun, which he finds cocked, scary enough, and he speculates it was probably used for hunting and then accidentally lost by people who just couldn't find it again. Or it was used in a terrible murder decades ago by a mob hitman and was dumped so well that the cops never caught him. I know which one I'd rather believe.
Looky what I just found. Let's take a little peek under here. Oh, it's a gun. Look, I don't know if it's going to be worth keeping or not. Well, I'll definitely keep it, but I don't think it'll ever fire again. Okay, let's see if she opens up without firing and blowing my face off. There we go. At least it's unloaded. Appears to be. Yep, she's unloaded. Pretty cool though. That made my day right there. Only in America can you just pick guns out of the creek.
Number 8. This find is in a very similar vein to the last one, only they're not just wandering around looking for stuff, they're doing something called magnet fishing, where they literally throw a magnet into the body of a water on a line and see what they can pull out. And boy, did they pull out something awesome. It makes the shotgun we just saw look like a kid's toy. So they kick off by just pulling out a magazine cartridge for the gun, which is pretty cool and might be valuable on its own. But when they go the whole mile by finding an MP40 submachine gun straight out of World War II, they're so excited to see this gun they even go and put it in the river to wash some of the mud off. Though I think they'd be better off taking it home and using a pressure hose to blast it clean.
Ty kráso. No tak to je úlet. Ty vole, to nesundáš to, vole.
Number 7. The video of this find first of all starts off with a cool dog to keep viewers engaged, but quickly progresses to something a lot more interesting. He's just out in the woods with his metal detector, which is what his whole channel is about, and he finds a secret door out in the middle of the forest. He manages to open it and climb down inside, which is pretty brave if you ask me, especially since he keeps talking about how creepy it is. There's not much to see though apart from a bunch of rocks, until he starts investigating with his metal detector and eventually digs out a gas canister and a chain. Then he decides to be sensible and get out of there. He also finds out there's an old Nokia and a bunch of old baby toys. Who knows what's really been going on in those woods.
Okay guys, might be one of the best finds I've ever done. This is a small little bunker, I think. And it's filled with stones, I don't know why. That's a gas tank or something. Some sort. Okay, this is just getting more and more creepy. You see all these kid toys I found underground? This didn't get on metal detector. And I swiped over again and I find this old phone. It's a Nokia.
Number 6. The only reason this item isn't number 1 on our list is because there's potential that it's fake. A lot of it consists of this guy, Joey Mac 420, pushing his America-themed dirt bike to its limits. So he's out on his bike when he suddenly glimpses a white convertible sports car and a guy in front of it digging wearing what looks like a sombrero and a poncho. Then Joey takes out his drone, which he conveniently has for some reason, and flies it over. And we watch that poncho guy put some very unusually shaped objects in the freshly dug hole until the guy drives off in his fancy car. Then Joey goes to see what it was and digs up a suspicious blue parcel with a penis drawn on it with a marker. When he opens it, it's a whole lot of money, though weirdly enough it all looks to be $1 bills. Then the poncho guy shows up again and threatens to shoot Joey until he leaves. So you can see why people think it's fake.
Just digging out here by myself. No shovel. Oh, what the hell? Holy sh! Oh my god! What the? Oh sh!
You leave that alone, man. You hop on that bike, get the hell out of here.
All right, man, just chill out.
I swear I'll kill you.
Number 5. There are a surprising number of YouTube channels dedicated to the kinds of things people dig out of the ground with metal detectors. And this guy has ventured all the way to Berlin to look for cool stuff. In fact, it only takes them 20 minutes to find a real mortar shell. And then something else cool are 2 old Nazi collar pins belonging to officers in the Luftwaffe, that being the German Air Force in World War II. But the real gem of their hunt is a live Russian frag grenade, also from the Second World War, and he decides on a whim that he's going to detonate it. Probably not the best idea given all the other explosives they found in the area, but he does it anyway, and we hear an explosion and he falls backwards. Given the fact that we don't see anything though, I'll speculate that it's a fake explosion, but not a fake grenade. And there's still a lot of cool stuff in this video to make up for it.
Now, I don't know if you saw my last video. 1 million people did, but I pulled the pin and I threw it. It didn't explode. It was a bit of an anticlimax. Maybe this time it will. I believe it takes about 5 seconds for it to explode. It's gonna work this time, I'm telling you. Oh, this is exciting. Let's just do it. 4.
Number 4. This is the oldest discovery on our list and potentially one of the most valuable. Though it's unfortunately not quite as cool as some of the weapons. They find out in a rural England somewhere that looks like a jug or a goblet, something straight out of Harry Potter, made of solid silver. The technical name for what they found is an ewer, an old jug used mainly for carrying water, and it's dated 1635, which makes it over 130 years older than the United States of America. Interestingly, they made a follow-up video where they got invited to the British Museum to have it appraised and shown off. They couldn't tell much about it, but they found out it was made in London. It's worth about $540 going by the modern price of silver, but it's so old it's probably worth way more than that.
No finds as much until we come across this little beauty in a hole. A bit more out. As you can see, it's definitely a jug of some sort. We're just debating if it is silver or pewter.
That's beautiful.
She's out. Look at that.
That's beautiful. Get her out.
What a beautiful jug. So, hopefully, it's going to be someone good or of importance, I should imagine.
Number 3. There's even more people now who have fun searching around for old World War II relics, which is understandable given that most of Europe was turned into a battlefield both in World War II and World War I. So this guy plans his entire day around going out into the woods with a whole bunch of tools to see what might be buried deep underground. Unfortunately, when he finally opens this mysterious door that's been taunting him for weeks, he's hugely disappointed by a bunch of valves and pipes and gets ready to leave. Until he has a brainstorm and figures out it's actually a strategic bunker built by the Nazis. He manages to get right inside and investigate with his camera and torch, which makes this into a really interesting video, because who doesn't want their own secret forest hideout, even if it is a bit cold and damp. Pretty cool.
So coming up to the entrance here, it's a long hallway into the mountain there. You can see they put some concrete on each side inside the facility here. Look at that. You can see the iron bars, that is reinforcement coming out of the destroyed concrete there. And out there is the entrance that we came from. So let's follow this place a little bit and
Number 2. So how much do you think a quarter's worth? 25 cents? Well, in the case of this video, you'd be wrong. A YouTuber called Dr. Tones 24K found an old quarter out in the woods with his metal detector 2 years ago, and it turned out to be a 1901 quarter, which is apparently incredibly rare. It's also in like new condition still and has almost no wear and tear, despite being buried in the ground in Idaho for over 100 years. It's so valuable that the video author actually takes a guy with him for protection and a handgun to a jewelry store when he goes to get it appraised. Can you say paranoia? In the end, he never actually gets held up for his antique coin, but after sending it to an online auction site, it takes a whole 2 weeks to get officially authenticated because there are more counterfeits of this quarter than real ones. Remarkably, it sells for $6,251, the same price as 25,000 quarters.
01 might be a key date, man.
Key date coins are considered extremely rare, usually because they didn't make very many of that particular date or mint mark.
I just made Bill pull over. We're back in cell range now, and I just looked up the coin. First thing that came up.
My delusional paranoia had obviously set in at this point. I had no idea how much this coin could possibly be worth. Success. $6,251 for a quarter.
Number 1. Our number 1 is the most famous example on the list and has gone viral in the last 8 months with nearly 17 million views. It's a compilation video of his best finds out in his local river, since treasure hunting out there is his favorite pastime, and he finds all sorts of stuff, including a bunch of GoPro cameras, lost iPhones, and weapons like guns and knives, all of which he tries to return to the rightful owners. If that wasn't cool enough, he also surfs and scuba dives and frees fish caught on fishing lines. Personally, I think his most impressive finds aren't the most valuable ones, but are the ones like the lost earrings that are hard enough to find if you lose them on dry land, let alone in the river. That was our list of the top 10 most insane things YouTubers found. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a video in the future, and hit the like button too so we hit the golden like of 1,000. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace!